Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412. Today we're going to be looking at the Sunday main slate on Draftkings here. 9-game slate. We have a lot of games that are on the West Coast or later in the afternoon here. So a smaller Sunday slate than usual, but weather-wise, no issues at the moment. But as always, make sure you're paying attention to that with any changes that might be happening overnight or into the next day. First off, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hopefully you have a fantastic day with your sons or daughters, family, sports, and hopefully some winnings here in DFS. So let's just dive right into the slate here. Sean Manaea for Oakland going against New York. Manaea has a nice floor. However, for his price tag, I think he's a little bit too pricey here. This slate is very similar to the early slate on Saturday in that there's no like true stud strikeout pitcher on this slate. Of all the pitchers going today, the highest strikeout rate is only 26.9. That's it. So it's very similar to yesterday, and also very similar to yesterday. There's a couple guys at the top that are just priced up way higher than I think they need to be. So Manaea is a guy like that today. Yankees offense has been doing a lot better lately, and at 10.1K, like I said, he has a nice floor, but I'm looking for like at least 2.5x value, and so we're looking for around 25 points from Manaea. He's at 25 points just twice this season in all of his starts, which is less than ideal. And to add to that, his strikeout rate is only at 23%. 23% for a 10K pitcher is quite concerning. So I'm not saying he's a bad play. I'm just saying, be cautious before jamming him into your lineup just because he is the top pitcher. Mike Minor and Walker here. Minor and Walker have nearly identical stats in pretty much everything. Strikeout percentage. Minor's at 26.3, Walker's at 26.9. These are the top two strikeout pitchers on the slate, believe it or not. Exit velocity, average exit velocity against, they're the identical, 89 miles an hour. Hard hit rate, 37% to 41%, 41% being Walker. Expected batting average against, 232 batting average against for Minor, 223 for Walker. And the list just goes on and on and on throughout all the stats. They're nearly identical in their production, which makes sense considering they're only priced 100 apart from each other. So I can't think of the word here. Do you want the pitcher that is going up against a top three offense in the league, or the pitcher that's going against a bottom three offense in the league in terms of runs scored per game this season? My money is going to be on Walker over Minor here. Wainwright, this is the 7-inning game, right? Yeah. So St. Louis, Atlanta, this is a 7-inning game here. It doesn't really impact pitchers too much, in my opinion. They might get, obviously, if they're going 7 innings, maybe they only go 6 innings because they want to get a closer in there. But it affects batters more because the batters are going to be losing in that bat, whereas pitchers, not so much. But Wainwright, not too much interest here going up against Atlanta. Ryu is in just poor form here. You can see his past 3 games have been just ugly. Houston, White Sox, New York, not bad teams. I mean, they're very solid, strong offenses, but not really too interested in Ryu, especially with that bullpen behind him. I don't think he's going to be in for an easy win tomorrow. But who knows? But I'm not too interested in him. One guy I do like, though, is McCullers here. Now, the numbers aren't the greatest for him here, but McCullers he's one of the top pitchers for the strikeout rate. He's right behind Walker and Minor. He's also at 26% on the season. Heavy ground ball pitcher here. Heavy ground ball pitcher, and he's going up against a heavy ground ball team in the White Sox. The White Sox have a 48.5 ground ball rate in the past month against right-handed pitching. So that ranks second most in the entire league. So their hits fit right into what McCullers wants. So I think he could be a phenomenal GPP play here. He has the upside with the strikeouts, as you can see. He's approached double digits many times during the season here. So the ceiling is definitely there. I don't think many people are going to be on him just because, they are the Chicago White Sox and they are a great offense. Especially, 8.8K for this kind of game log. Maybe you catch the game log watchers fading him completely. So I think he's a solid GPP play, one of my favorite GPP plays on the slate. Evaldi, nothing too bad about him. Corbin is weird. Corbin is a guy that I love to target. If you've watched these videos all season, I love to target him. But he has just random games of brilliance. 29 DK points in his last game. Just ugly, 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 ugly. And then 32. And then just more just poor performances. He seems to be all or nothing kind of pitcher. So while I do want to fade that, you got to pay attention to this Mets offense. This Mets offense is just in a rut right now. They can't seem to score anything outside of Lindor hitting a home run. So Corbin, GPP play at best. I'm not saying he's cash play at all. But if you want a guy with a ceiling going up against an offense that is really struggling, Corbin may be your guy. But he also can follow up a fantastic game with a complete dud and get pulled in the fourth inning. So we'll see what tomorrow brings or Sunday brings. But Corbin, deep GPP, just something I thought I'd bring up though. Keuchel on the opposite side of McCullers, he's in great form lately. 2 or fewer earned runs in 4 of the past 5 games, 4 of the past 5 starts for him. Not the greatest offenses, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Baltimore here. New York is struggling, but still, he's in solid form at 6.8K. He's not going to absolutely burn all your salary up. You can still pair some really solid bats with him. One thing you do have to worry about him is his strikeout upside is pretty much non-existent. He had 8 here earlier, but his strikeout rate on the season is only at 14%. Super low, one of the lowest on the entire slate. So do have to worry about that. And the last guy I'm just going to kind of highlight here is Kenta Maeda, who 6.3K. His salary has just kind of plummeted from earlier on in the season where he was in the low 8K range. I completely forgot what I was just going to say. No idea. But let's just kind of look at what Maeda has done. He has faced Texas earlier in the season here. You can see earlier in the month. And he had one of his ceiling games at 29 DK points. So he has faced this Texas lineup before. He has had success against this Texas lineup. And at 6.3K, I'm only looking for a high teens. Can he get me 16, 17 points? That's as a floor. Obviously, I want more than that. But if he can get me 16, 17 points at 6.3K, that does not hurt me too much at all. I'm still in a great position because it meant I could load up on bats and where my savings were. I definitely hit value there. So I think Maeda, if you really need to go cheap at pitcher, I think is a pitcher that you could look to here on Sunday. So again, it's not great. It reminds me a lot of the early slate on Saturday, and just that there's just not a lot to like. So you just kind of have to force things in there. Walker would probably be my favorite play here, but again, it's ugly. But let's turn to the bats, and again, it looks a lot like early slate on Saturday. Number 1 team, Toronto. Toronto going up against Matt Harvey here. Harvey is not a good pitcher, in case you guys haven't figured that one out. He has not had double-digit points in a start in 7 starts. And in those 7 starts, he's finished in the negatives 4 separate times. He's awful. Now he's going up against a Toronto lineup that is just absolutely stacked. And he's a reverse splits pitcher. So he throws righty, but right-handed bats have most success against him. And Toronto is completely loaded with right-handed bats up and down. Right-handers against Harvey this season are hitting 363 for batting average, which is just incredible. He's got 6 of his past 7 starts. He's allowed 5 or more earned runs. And it's not like he's going 7 innings and allowing 5 or more earned runs. He's only going 3 or 4 innings and allowing 5 or more earned runs. So once he gets pulled out, then you face that Baltimore bullpen, who in the past month have an ERA close to 6. It's the second highest ERA among all the bullpens in the league, and they allow the 3rd most home runs as a bullpen. The home run rate is the 3rd highest of any MLB team. So Harvey, horrendous pitcher. He's got a horrendous bullpen behind him, facing an elite offense that can absolutely take him yards. So Toronto is easily going to be one of the top plays here. Again, I think they were like 50% owned in cash. It was incredible. The double up percentages, it was like 50 to 60% on some of these guys. A lot of these guys, Guerrero, Simeon, Grichuk, they're all way up there. It was amazing. But it's probably going to be happening again here on Sunday. Vlad got to bump up. Bichette, Simeon, those are your big 3, the big 3 Toronto bats. It might be kind of tough to fit all those guys in with a guy like Walker. You're looking at 3-8 remaining, and that's with finding another pitcher spot. But if you go down to maybe you want to find that cheap Maeda guy, 3-3 remaining, say you go with that Toronto catcher. Oh, Adams might be back, but McGuire played today. Who knows? Maybe one of the cheap guys are in. 2.2. You're looking at 3-6. So possible. Bump up at pitcher. Let's see what this lands you at. We'll go up to, just go with my colors. Separate yourself, 3K. So it'd be difficult. Toronto is priced up accordingly, but I think they're clearly in the absolute smash spot. Highest over-under on the slate at the moment. Obviously, things can change, but at the moment, it's this Boston versus Kansas City game. Minor versus Eovaldi. It's weird. I see, Minor, the second highest priced pitcher on this slate, is part of the highest over-under total. And he's the underdog in this game, too. Manea, this Oakland, New York game, has the second highest over-under at 9.5, tied for the second highest. But still, and he's not a favorite or a large favorite in his game either. So you have the top 2 pitchers on the slate. Both of them are underdogs in 2 of the highest total games on the entire slate. It just doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense when you look at the other options on the slate. So Boston, Kansas City, you're going to want some bats from there as well. Pittsburgh, definitely a team that you could be looking at here going up against Sam Henches for Cleveland. Henches really struggling on the road. You can see he's going on the road against Pittsburgh here. 4 starts, he's averaging negative points in those 4 starts, those 4 away starts. And it's not like he's faced the best teams either. Baltimore, Detroit, LA Angels, okay, we'll give him that one, and Kansas City. So not the greatest of offenses, but still averaging negative points overall. 2 really horrendous games kind of did him in there, but he's just not good. He's not good. Cleveland bullpen isn't bad. They got a nice bullpen there, but still, I think Pittsburgh can be a nice under the radar team. But my favorite team to go under the radar and kind of leverage yourself is the opposite of the Toronto stack, and that's going with the Baltimore stack. You could pair it with Toronto. You could just do a full-out game stack, or you could just keep Baltimore by yourself, fade Toronto, who's going to be chalk, and pair Baltimore with somebody else. But I mentioned Ryu's struggles earlier on in the video here. He's got, let's pull up his game logs. So Ryu has been struggling here. 3 games, -3, 9, and 8. He's allowing a lot of earned runs here. Most importantly, he's allowing a lot of home runs. He is not striking anybody out here. And when you got more walks than strikeouts over a 3-game span, not good. A recipe for disaster here. And that Toronto bullpen behind him, I mentioned the Baltimore bullpen is bad. Toronto is right behind them at being one of the worst bullpens in the league over the past month. Their ERA in the past month is 5.44, and they have a 12.1% team walk rate for that Toronto bullpen. So that is one of the highest in the entire league, 12% walk rate for the Toronto bullpen. So you have a struggling pitcher and you have a struggling bullpen. And Baltimore is sneakily doing very well against left-handed pitching like Ryu. In the past month, Baltimore is hitting 303, team batting average, 303 against left-handed pitching. Number one in the league, 513 slugging percentage, number one in the league, 143 WRC plus, number one in the league. So I think Baltimore is in a great spot here. Their bats have been doing well. I think they've scored 7 runs in 3 of their past 4 games. So they're in good form here. I like them. I know I was high on them the other day against, who was it? Rich Hill. Didn't pan out too much, but we were on them when they scored 18 against Cleveland just a week or 2 ago. So maybe we'll have that kind of magic here again. Mancini's really expensive. I'm not sure I want to pay up that much for Mancini, but the rest of their bats are super cheap. So Baltimore, another great option here. Just seeing if there's anybody I missed. Like I said, the Mets going up against Corbin. Corbin is boom or bust, but this Mets offense has been a disaster lately. So who knows how that's going to go. Let's see. Houston going up against Keuchel. Keuchel's in great form, but he doesn't strike anybody out. His expected batting average against is it is the number one. It's the highest on the entire slate. 307 hitters are expected a 307 batting average against him this season. So that's the worst on the entire slate. So Houston could be in line for a nice game here. Albeit, if you take away Keuchel's recent success lately. Boston, Kansas City, highest over/under. St. Louis, Atlanta, it's only a 7-inning game. I'm not too interested in the bats there. If I was interested in the bats, I would go with St. Louis going up against Wilson. Not a great pitcher. Miami, Chicago, Minnesota, Texas, that same thing. So that kind of wraps things up. I appreciate it. Drop a comment down below what you like, what you don't like. Give a thumbs up. It really does help us at continuing keeping up with these free videos for you guys. We do have a Discord at FSI, so make sure you check that out as well. We have a bunch of free rooms. We also have the premium rooms like MLB here. We provide cores for each of the slates, every tiers, showdown, and then the main slates that go on. So as always, good luck in your contest today. Happy Father's Day once again, and we will see you in the next video.